With that being said, we'll get started with the Albertville Aggies this morning, and Coach Bert Browne. Coach Browne starting his second year for the Aggies. Coach, if you'd introduce the players or let them introduce themselves, and then an opening comment from you, and then we'll get started this morning.
All right, I'll let them introduce from left to right here.
My name is Christian Ramirez.
I'm Hunter Smith.
My name is Jordan Laredo.
All right, well, this is my second year. One of the things that we tried to do is really recruit the hallways. We had 8 seniors last year and 9 juniors, and of course, JJ was killed in a car wreck, so that made us with 8 last year at the end of the season. And I think that everybody in here knows if you're trying to play 7A football with 8 seniors and 8 juniors, and a freshman or an 8th grade quarterback, it's going to be a tough year. And I really would like to say that I really appreciate our seniors last year, because they had several of their classmates quit over the years, and those guys stuck it out to be with a program that hadn't been successful in a while, and they really showed our younger guys to fight through losses and things like that. Because I've done this 33, 34 years now, and I think sometimes you learn a lot about yourself in losses, a lot more about yourself in losses than you do wins. And I think, those guys kind of showed our younger kids the way, and they never quit. Our kids never quit in the game. I was very proud of that. And, this year we're still going to be extremely young. Probably starting a 9th grade quarterback. We do have a little quarterback battle going on right now, and we'll see. But, CJ started last year for us as an 8th grader. And that was kind of weird, because I'd say, well, I need to see CJ, and, well, I forgot he's in the 8th grade, so he's at the middle school. So I'd have to go over there. I've never encountered anything like that in my life. So, but I'm excited about the group we've got coming back. They were extremely hard workers in the winter, and they did everything we asked of them. And so, we're just taking one day at a time, and we're trying to build this thing, because we're trying to change the culture, and I think we're getting there. There's still some things that these young men have to understand to have a winning program and be successful. So I'm excited about this season. I know they are, and we're done no favors with our scheduling. We're in a 7A region that you can't go out and find 2 wins. We start the season with Arab, who's always been tough, and we turn right around and play Boaz, and then we hit region play. And then the last game of the season is a football team, that might have their best football team in a long time in Guntersville. So, I'm not a big fan of these big regions, because I think, I'd love to be able to go out and pay somebody from Tennessee to come down here and that weren't very good that we could beat, but that's just not how it works. And so, we've got a very tough schedule, and but that's our schedule, and that's what we got. And I tell the kids, you can't hide from it. You got to go do it.
Coach, could you comment? You talked about 8 seniors last year. Talk about squad size this year. How many seniors, how many returning starters you may have this year?
And I think we got 8 or 9 seniors this year, 9, maybe 10 seniors, and I guess 20-some juniors, and probably 30 sophomores, and I think we're going to have around 40 freshmen. One thing that we didn't, we got to play a JV schedule, but it was on Friday nights. I mean, our JV was playing on Friday nights. I would have loved to have played a JV schedule, but everybody that was going to play in a JV game was playing on Friday night, and most of them were starting. When you start an 8th grader at quarterback, you got freshmen starting everywhere. I think we ended the season on offense with 8 freshmen or sophomores starting, or 7 freshmen and sophomores starting. And on defense, I think it was 9. our last couple games of the year. So this year we've got a full JV schedule and a full freshman schedule.
Hey, Coach. I did want to ask, when you were trying to kind of, from the ground up, in organizational and program standpoint, rebuilding and building a program, could you just walk us through, as you just mentioned, what is necessary to take to not only compete on a week-to-week basis, but at the 7A level?
Yeah. Well, you know, I've of course been in college football, out of college football, back to high school a few times, and you know, I've never taken over a program. I think this is my 6th head coaching job at the high school level, and I've never taken over a program that had been successful the few years before I got there, and but I've always taken over a program where I could say, okay, that guy was a slot receiver and he needs to be a tailback because he runs a 4-3-5. Why did the previous guy not give that guy the football? And I did that at Stewart's Creek in Tennessee. The guy touched the ball 2 times a game before I got there. And he was a region player of the year, rushed for 1,750 yards. But we don't have anybody that runs 4-3-5. And Amari could. And so I've always been somewhere that I've taken over a job where I had some guys that I could put in spots that hadn't been before that would make us successful. And, of course, last year, our senior quarterback transferred somewhere else. And when that happened, the dominoes kind of fell, and we had a lot of seniors quit during the summer because they thought, well, we can't win. Well, how are you going to win if people don't come out? And that's what I've been preaching to the young guys. You know, you got to stick together. Don't move. Don't leave. Stick together. And you know, I think it's much more satisfying when you haven't been good and you turn something around. And, you know, for me, you know, the kids, teaching kids today, I coached NCAA. I was a Division I assistant football coach at Tennessee Tech. Well, if a kid isn't happy, he just leaves. And that's, what are we teaching kids now? I mean, anywhere they go, at any level of college football, you know, if you don't fight through any kind of adversity. If you can't beat somebody, well, I'm going to leave. And so, you know, what I've harped to these guys is we're trying to build something here, and it's tough, but, you know, fight through it. And that's one thing I think that Coach Saban was talking about. I think it bothers him that, you know, guys can just leave in a semester. They don't have to fight through anything. So what are we teaching our youth? So one of the things that I've constantly, and anytime I've taken over a program, is we talk about culture. We talk about being good students, being good people in the community, good people in the classrooms. And I think discipline is the number one thing that I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Any program I've ever come in, discipline is the number one thing that you have to have. And through that, once you get that, and once kids understand that they've got to do these things in order to play football, and you know, that travels over to life in general, and in the classroom, and when you get out and get a job. And I think once you establish that discipline and understanding of, you know, I don't care how good you are, if you don't show up to practice one day, you're not playing, or you don't do this, you're not going to play. So for me, it's always been the number one thing is about discipline and teaching kids that, you know, you got to hold each other accountable, just like the coaching staff holds each other accountable. So accountability, discipline is big.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. Now that you've got a year under your belt with the Aggies, what is kind of the biggest difference for you this offseason getting ready for year 2 leading this program?
We're so much stronger. And, of course, every coach that will talk, I mean, will tell you, we've seen so much gain in the weight room in the offseason. Gavin Halford, our strength coach, has done a great job. Of course, you know, he was the head strength coach for 13 years at Jacksonville State, and does a great job. But we've gotten tremendously stronger. And, of course, when you're a freshman to sophomores, and that's what we had a lot of, they're going to naturally get stronger because they're going to grow. You know, that's a big jump from a freshman to a sophomore, 8th grader to a 9th grader. So our strength has gotten much better. I just wish maybe we could do the old thing where we hang in the closet and gain some inches there, stretch ourselves. But, strength has been big.
My question's to each one of you guys. Talk about what it means to stick it out. Like Coach mentioned, you've had some guys quit over the years, some of your classmates, things like that. You guys have stuck it out. And also, what's it going to take to turn this thing around and get back with the winning mindset and winning program? Because I know it's a player-driven sport. So you guys, each one of you guys, speak on that if you don't mind.
I'd say sticking it out is just mainly being a team and just keeping each other up together. Just don't give up. Like something negative happens in a game, always bring each other up, because at the end of the day, it's the team together fighting. And just, you can't win anything like that. And if we have people with the wrong mindset, nobody's going to want to be with that. So, yeah.
Mainly, I think you just got to stick it out because, like, you grow up and you're going to have these friendships forever. And, I mean, you got to have chemistry. If you don't have chemistry, you're not going to be able to play together. So, I mean, when you have 10 kids quit every year, it's hard to keep that same chemistry. Like, it's just hard to play if, you have a different starting group every single year. So I think the main thing sticking out is also you're going to get better playing together every single year. So it's just if you don't stick it out with one team, it's hard to get better.
I'd say the same thing as Hunter. Like, it's hard to have a team bond and, like, chemistry whenever you have a new starting group every year and you got to build back up with that different people every year.
Gentlemen, a two-parter to sort of piggyback off of Bo's question. First, for the players, what have you done this offseason to sort of build that chemistry up, and how have you guys seen yourselves grow as a team, and as they call it, a brotherhood? What have you guys done this offseason, both individually and as a team, to make yourselves grow stronger together?
I'd say we do a lot of more of teamwork stuff. Like in practice, we get a lot of like position group together, and individually, I say we've choose to like hang out more outside of football to build up that chemistry and build that bond. So when we get on the field, we'll have that strong bond.
Yeah, I'd say it's more of like outside of football practice. We'll all just get together, get on the field, and just have a good time playing, just like pick up 7v7 ball, just like receivers, quarterbacks, just get out there, no plays, just play backyard football. Everybody just go have fun, get the love of the game back. And I mean, when you do that with a bunch of your buddies, it's just, you grow a bond, So it's just outside of practice, just going out playing 7-on-7, backyard football. It's a lot better bond when you get off the field out of the practice time and just go have fun with everybody.
Like all of us have been hanging out a lot more outside of football. Like we all go to the gym and stuff like that, and we push each other harder outside of football than we do inside of football, which shouldn't be that way, but it is. But I mean, we're all still working regardless. So.
And second part for Coach, to sort of piggyback off of that one, what have you seen from these young men off the field and on the field, both as you get ready to gear up for the fall? What have you seen to kind of piggyback and really say, yeah, I've seen this from these kids, and what about the leadership, and where is that at for the Albertville Aggies going into year two?
Yeah, well, something that we did is we put our kids in platoons in the winter in the weight room. I got the Army green T-shirts, and, we had a Tango, Alpha company, and different companies, Bravo, and so I put them in teams, and then I put 2 team leaders in charge of each platoon, and I think that really helped them kind of get a little closer. I know that if one of their teammates wasn't there in that platoon that day, the leaders had to do 25 push-ups for each kid that wasn't there, and then it got to where all of them were doing 25 push-ups for each kid that wasn't there. So, little team building things like that, and purposely put a leader in the group and a guy that probably wasn't as much of a leader to be a leader of the group, to bring him on and make him lead and understand that he's in charge, or he's got skin in the game.
We'll wrap it up with this question, guys. Talk about team goals for this year and individual goals for this year's Albertville football team, individual goals for each one of you.
I'd say for the team goals, I'd say we get better as a team and make less mistakes and find more ways to fixing that failure. And my individual goals is to do my part on my team and make sure I bring up my guys with me and just keep moving forward and just get better every day.
I'd say for team goals, mainly just play together, like fix the mistakes that we make that we can control. Like the things that we can control, we need to make them as best as we can. And then like personal goals, I just say I just want to do my job, really. Just make sure I'm doing my part to help my team win.
For team goals, I would say just all of us just push like as hard as we can and stuff like that, and play as a team. And then individual goal, I would say is I've been trying to make less mistakes, push myself harder every single day, show these guys, like the new guys, how to work and stuff like that.
Coach Browne, thanks for coming today. Guys, thanks for coming. Good luck to the Aggies this year.
Thank you.